What's up, people? It's your man, Harkana Jala, a.k.a. the Bad Boy Genius. As always, your untamed host of Smart Black People. Listen, if you've been following this Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearing circus, and you've been thinking that the Me Too movement was going to strike a decisive victory and women were going to be heard and all of that, I got bad news for you. You're probably going to be disappointed. I'll tell you why in a second. Let's go. So, the Donald makes his selection of a super duper ultra conservative Supreme Court Justice nominee. He has been very open about wanting to tip the scales of the Supreme Court to becoming a very conservative majority, which is a funny thing when you really think about it. Just as an aside, it's a funny thing that the judges of the highest court in the United States. Now, when you think of a judge in a court of law, they're supposed to be what? Among all other things, impartial, right? And yet the Supreme Court has lifetime judge appointees. Once you're on there until you decide to retire. And amazingly, they are openly either liberal or conservative leaning. It makes no sense whatsoever, but hey, it's set that way for a reason. Anyway, so he nominates Kavanaugh, and again, let's give some context here. Remember that President Obama, almost a whole year before the last presidential election, President Obama nominated a Supreme Court Justice nominee. And the Republican Party said, we're not going to vote on it because it's too close to the election. Meaning, basically, they didn't want to allow Obama to put a liberal-leaning judge on the Supreme Court. And so, regardless of the fact that that's the way it's supposed to work, as you'll see over and over in politics, they don't care about what's right. They don't care about what's best for the country or the country's citizens or what have you. They only care about party victories because it helps them get reelected. So, Trump chooses Kavanaugh, up pops, two or three, I think it's up to three or four people, women who come forward and said he sexually assaulted me or tried to sexually assault me, etc., etc. Now, and the fireworks began. And for more context, let's be real about this. It's very interesting that this is all taking place. And this is something you'll notice nobody in the news media, nobody on either side of this debate has raised the question of the elephant in the room. That all this is taking place within the same news cycle that Bill Cosby was literally found guilty and sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. For, by the way, he was found guilty of sexual assault with no physical proof and no physical evidence. Now, I'm not saying Bill is innocent. I'm saying he was convicted, and this is not a way of looking at it or me spinning it or anything else. You can go and look. There was no physical proof, no evidence. His word against hers. Something happened 14 years ago. Convicted. Now, so here comes Kavanaugh, and they're in a sticky situation because these women come forth in the midst of the Me Too movement's fervor, highest fervor, right? And now they have a problem. They don't have a problem because Kavanaugh may have sexually assaulted those ladies, and that worries them that he wouldn't be a good choice. As you can see, all you have to do is go and listen to all the Republican senators. They don't give a fuck whether he did it or not. They don't give a fuck whether or not that makes him a poor choice. They just want their win because they have to satisfy their base. because once again, it's all about getting reelected. So what they decide to do, because again, it's in the midst of the Me Too movement, and what they worry about again is not what's right, but this could hurt us if we vote for this guy and it doesn't look like we cared about the ladies. It could hurt us in their reelection campaigns that are coming up in just a month, right? So they did what politicians do. Remember this if you don't remember anything else. Politics is a game of illusions. It's just about doing whatever you have to do to get the people who vote for you to feel like they want to vote for you again. You follow me? So here's what they did. They said, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give the illusion that we are taking these ladies' stories and allegations seriously. So they did what they always do. They had Miss Ford. They said, we're going to have her come in and we're going to hear her testimony, and then we will hear Kavanaugh's testimony. And they're hoping that this makes it look like we listened to her, we took her seriously. So they do that, and she's extremely convincing. She's extremely, she's seen as extremely credible. And everybody said Kavanaugh's finished after this. And then Kavanaugh comes on and like goes ape shit on the stand. He's crying and he's aggressive as fuck and he's going all over the top, showing that once again he's very partisan, anti-Democrats. And the funny thing about it, again, he's supposed to not be partisan. He even apologized for it just today in the news. I'm sorry, because he knew it looked bad. And so then the next battle was, well, we need to have the FBI look into this. Why? Because what they're trying to do is to make it, before they vote for him, and this is at least from the Republican standpoint, before they go ahead and vote to confirm him, they just want the public to feel like, hey, we looked at everything and we did everything we could and took it seriously, because they don't want to lose votes. But they also don't want to lose votes by not getting in a conservative, quote unquote, impartial judge on the Supreme Court. Okay. So then they fought over the FBI investigation, and Trump said they need to limit it. It should be very limited. The FBI investigation, as they did it, didn't make any fucking sense, because they didn't talk to people that only a fool wouldn't talk. Like a sixth grader would say, well, you need to talk to these people if you're going to have any kind of investigation. They didn't. Your good friend Donald J. Trump limited it. And so the Dog and Pony Show, they finished that shit up in like a day and a half. The FBI, they investigated, quote unquote, in like a day and a half. Okay. And then they turned it in, and now in less than a day of having it, the GOP, the Republican senators are, oh yeah, now that we've seen this, it completely exonerates them. Yeah, oh no way, everything's great, we have no reservations, da 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 da. Now they're not saying, and this is what's funny, they're not saying that lady's lying. You follow me? Not publicly, but if you're saying that the FBI report exonerates him, then that is what you're saying, that she's lying, that all these ladies are lying. Anyway, if you thought there was going to be some great victory struck for the Me Too movement, I'm here to tell you, you're going to be disappointed, because what's going to probably happen, I'd say there's about a 99% chance that they're going to confirm Kavanaugh. And look, even if they don't, the next one coming behind him will be the same type of guy. See, here's reality, particularly when it comes to politics. The name of the game is just to get in. Have you ever wondered why there are no term limits for Congress people? You can get in there and stay your whole life. Stay your whole fucking life. John McCain did it. I mean, there are many, many senators and Congress people who have been there their whole fucking lives until they die, literally die. Why? Because it's a fucking gravy train. All you gotta do is get elected. All you gotta do is get in and then stay there. So see, once they get there, it's so sweet. There's so many perks. There's so much money to be made in the connections that you can make, because everybody wants to give you money. Everybody wants to contribute to your re-election campaign, etc., etc. Why? Of course, you understand this, in exchange for access so that they can talk to them and ask them to create bills. In many cases, submit bills already written. It's nuts. It really is. So it's all about getting in and staying in. And that's all this dog and pony show about Kavanaugh has been. A way to put the person on the Supreme Court that they want, in this case, the Republicans, and not lose any votes for it. So, you're going to probably see he's going to fly through, or they'll bring somebody else up if it doesn't go down by some small chance. They'll bring somebody else in and float them through who will be the same type guy. So, folks, every time I do one of these videos, the most important thing is not just to determine the issue or the problem, but talk about the solution. Look, the solution is actually really clear when it comes to this, and it comes to politics in general. For any smart black person, for any intelligent black person, for any open-minded, free-thinking, critical thinking black person, you need to understand this. Here's the solution. Don't invest too much emotion, passion, or hope in political solutions, in politics as a solution. In many cases, politics is one of the main core drivers of problems. Here is where power comes in. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that there are never political solutions or tactics, situations, strategies that are political that can't be part of our overall solution. But the simple fact of the matter is this. In a capitalist society like America, particularly the way America is set up, where money rules all, okay? Money is the power in America. So there's only really one way as a people to wield power. The power to change our lives, the power to make our lives physically, mentally, financially rich. And that is economic power. We have to wield economic power. That means doing for self. That means starting black businesses that can create jobs for black people, and then taking advantage of the power that you get when economically you don't have to beg anyone else for jobs or assistance or any other shit. That's what it's all about. That's what we got to focus on, folks. Stop wasting your time getting pulled emotionally into these fucking daytime soap operas that is American politics. Listen, here's the deal. Let me put it this way. No matter what they're talking about, no matter who's talking about it, if you want to know what's going to happen in politics over the next 10 years, all you got to do is look back at the last 10 years. It is all the same. It goes on and on. It is an illusion. It's set up as an illusion of choice. You got two parties. The only thing they agree upon is that there is no need for any other parties. So if you understand marketing, you know people will choose from the options they're given. That's why they only give you two. And all they got to do is they're just like that old Warner Brothers cartoon with the fox and the dog. They go back and forth fighting, trying to kill each other all day, and then they go have lunch and hey, how was the family, George? Oh, I'm doing great, Fred, da 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 da. And then they log back on and they go back to trying to kill each other, but not really kill each other, just battling back and forth. As long as they do that, they'll always have a job. And that's exactly how politics works, people. So trust me, take your focus off of the political circus and put it where the real power is in this country. The financial game, the money game, the economic empowerment game. That's where we can save ourselves. But look, if you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. Give me your thoughts. Tell me where I'm wrong. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. And make sure, as always, that you subscribe. We're giving away free gifts every week. So everybody who's subscribed to this channel, Smart Black People TV, is entered for that drawing. And make sure you hit that like button down there, or hit the dislike if you don't feel me. And share this on your social media. Even though we're surrounded by buffoonery and coonery and ignorance and a bunch of shit that disempowers African American people, on this channel, we empowering ourselves. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.